You know what? It's time for I'm Talking Here with Steve Rizzo and Debbie Bettendorf. Oh, I'm so excited.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to I'm Talking Here. I'm Steve Rizzo. We have a wonderful show for you this evening. I'd like to thank you all for all the people that are following us. And please do me a favor, share this with friends and family and even people you don't like. Who knows? They might like you as a result of the show. It can happen. Things can happen. I believe in miracles. But we do have a great show. And as a matter of fact, today's episode is about happiness, our main purpose and ultimate goal in life. And as many of you know, this show is brought to you by Conversations with Bob, which is my book that's been out for a while. It's getting wonderful reviews. I thank you for all of you who are purchasing the book. And my promise to you, after you've read this book from cover to cover, you will realize how much power you have over every aspect of your life. I'm not bragging. I'm just stating a fact. I know this. It took me 7 years to write. But this title, it's a pretty touchy title because there are a lot of people that just don't want to hear that happiness is a choice. And Aristotle, my next door neighbor, no, Aristotle, the Greek philosopher, said that happiness is our main purpose and ultimate goal in life. And what he's saying here, and I want everyone to get this, is that everything that you want and desire and all of your dreams, the reason why you want and desire these things is because you believe that somehow, some way, these things are going to make you happy or happier than you already are. Like, why do you want a new house? Because you think that's going to make you happy or happier. Why do you want your kids to go to a great school? Because you believe somehow it's going to make you happy or happier, make you feel better. Why do you want a brand new car? Because you think that it's going to make you happy or happier. And you can keep going with this. Now, some of you may even be thinking, as someone said in one of my workshops, well, no, not really, Steve. I want a new car because it makes me feel prestigious. Yeah, okay, I get that. But why do you want to feel prestigious? Because deep inside, you believe that somehow, some way, it'll make you feel happy or happier. No matter how you put it, the bottom denominator is you want things in your life, your desires, the things that you want, the things that you crave, the things that you say you need. The bottom line is you want it because you think it'll make you happier. Now, some of you may be thinking, well, if that's the case, Steve, then why are so many people going through life feeling crappy instead of happy? Well, there are a number of reasons for that, and that's what we're going to be talking about today. And the main reason is that you keep focusing on what you don't have rather than appreciating what you do have. That's one of the main causes for being unhappy. And if you go through life focusing on the things that life has given you and blessing the things that life has given you, think about it. It just makes sense. You're going to feel happier. We're going to get into this in a little bit more detail. I appreciate your comments, and I apologize ahead of time because the show was at 7 p.m., but for some reason, StreamYard, when it was posted, said midnight. I don't know why that happened, but it did. So, but anyway, we're going to continue with the show, and let me introduce my team. Eric Bam cannot make it this evening because his daughter is not feeling well, so we hope that she feels better, and I'm sure that'll make him feel a lot happier. But right now, I'm going to bring up my team. Let me bring up my director and my producer, Mr. Bruce. How you doing, man?
Good.
Glad to hear that.
Oh. And no, I did not get a haircut. It's just flat.
Hey, did you get a haircut?
No. we had like 6 degrees in Chicago with the wind chill.
Wow.
So, and like a week and a half ago, it was like 70.
Okay, so let me ask you this. Let me ask you a question. Do you allow the weather to determine your happiness on any given day?
No, because whether it's cold or warm, it's still sunny outside. And even if it's cloudy, I've got a big, I was going to say a word, but a big light here. And actually, they're actually this one company sent me this. It's like a sun lamp type thing where you kind of like you put the lamp in front of you and it kind of emits the same energy as the sun does.
Oh, cool. So that
no,
makes you,
but I
that
don't
makes,
go outside if I don't leave the house if it's 20 degrees or less, though.
yeah. No, I get it. See, I'm the type of person, I don't like the cold. So, like today, I went outside and the wind was biting. It was like really biting. And I might whine a little bit and I might curse, but I find myself doing that because I can't help it. I curse a lot. Certain words are adjectives to me. You know that. And I had a tough time curtailing that on this show. But I noticed myself that the thing that makes me feel better and smile is when I am cursing. And I find myself cursing at the weather like it's going to change because I'm cursing. And then I get in my car and I feel better because now
Well,
I
it's
have a
better than
Lexus
holding
in
it
my
in.
car. Excuse me?
It's better than holding it in
Oh,
and
yeah,
and
I
and
agree.
letting it, fester, and then all of a sudden, then you blow up at your friends and family for no apparent reason.
No, that's what people do. Yeah, you take a bad mood, you're not realizing it that you're taking that to your next episode in your life, and of course that snowballs because then you just put your family or your business associates in a bad mood because of your attitude. But I thank you for sharing that, Bruce. And
Yeah,
now we're
so
going to
every
bring
day
up.
so how do you start your day to be in a happy
I'll tell you. Okay, you know what? That's a great question. I
you
start
wanna
my
bring
day.
you wanna bring Debbie on first before you answer that or
Yeah, let's
afterwards?
bring Debbie up first. Let's bring Debbie up first. Let's bring up the lovely Debbie. There she is.
Oops.
And hey, Bruce, get. Oh, thank you. Get that out of my face. All right.
Hey, I'm talking here.
Hey, I'm talking to you. What's the matter with you? Didn't you hear Droopy Dog? Oh, I'm very, very happy to be here.
You know what? I'm talking here.
You know what, Deb? When I did my stand up, I used to do cartoon characters having sex. What would it sound like? And this is what Droopy Dog would sound like having sex. Oh, whip me, hurt me, you funky bitch.
God, this is what I just popped up to, guys. This makes me happy, though. I'm telling you, let's talk. It made me laugh. Like, Bruce, sunshine does have a lot to do with how it moods. I mean, that's scientifically proven. Like, we are in control of a lot of our happiness. But
Yeah.
when you said that, it's so true that light, like my selfie light, it's making me so happy right now. But light, we need light, natural vitamin D. And
Yeah.
Steve's impression of cartoon characters having sexual activity. Those things are just joyful, happy time. Bruce is not amused. Dan,
I purposely distracted myself.
Yeah. That's my cousin Danny. Hey, cuz,
oh,
I tried to be happy even when things aren't great. I know, Danny, you're a pretty optimistic guy. Yeah,
Dan,
he's one of my favorite relatives of all time.
fam.
So, yeah, he's amazing. But you asked me a question before, Bruce. What do I do to start my day being happy? I don't get out of bed until I'm feeling optimistic about the day ahead of me. I won't do it. I refuse. And that doesn't mean I don't wake up in low moods. We all do. Sometimes I have these weird dreams and they put me in this mood and I'm very aware of that, but I will not get out of the bed. I will not take the covers off until I shift my way of thinking and my focus to what I'm grateful for. And I say a little prayer, I meditate for 15, 20 minutes, and I just won't get out of the bed until I do that. And it has made a tremendous difference in my outlook on life. Because what I taught my brain to do, and we all have the power to do this, is to focus what's working rather than fixating what isn't working. Even if life has thrown some major stuff my way, I know it's there. I'm aware that it's there. But I know if that's all I focus on, first of all, I'm not going to find remedies to fix these challenges. I'm going to make a bad situation worse than what it has to be. I know that my mind has to be clear. I have to be relatively optimistic in order to get to where I want to go on that particular day. And when I'm in a bad mood and other people know it, I know that my energy can put them in a bad mood instantly because most people look at me as somebody that's optimistic all the time, which really puts a lot of pressure on me.
Right. That would be a lot of pressure. But that is a great point, Steve, because I always do that. When I say always, now I got to backtrack. There have been days where I jump up like, oh, I got to hurry. Hit the snooze, and that's rare, but I do it. And I don't get to do the breath, the meditation, the gratitude. And I got to say, it changes the course of my day. I have to snap myself back into the gratitude and let's go and get myself in a good place. So routine is huge for me to keep me on that happy track, kind of.
Yeah, no, I get it. And that's one of the things I say. Wes, my other cousin, my cousin Danny's brother,
It's
Thomas.
a family thing.
This is pretty cool. It's a family affair. It's a family affair. That's Sly and the Family Stone, by the way.
So we got Danny and we got Tommy.
We got Tommy. We got my two cousins.
We got my two cousins up in this place.
Hey, so going back to what you were saying, Deb. Yeah. I always tell people, and this is what I do, and I suggest this. Rather than waking up and thinking about everything that needs to be done, which is what you were alluding to, Deb, I always suggest that rather than doing that, your number one step is say to yourself, who do I have to be in order to get it done? That's the mindset you have to start your day off. Ooh. Who do I have to be to get these things done? Because I know it has the potential to be a very challenging day. And that's when I'm aware that I have to shift my way of thinking on what I can do to put me in a healthier state of mind. And the more I do it, the more it becomes a part of who I am. So
that's good stuff. We've got Cole Watson coming in from SoCal. Hello, Cole.
Wow. And Sean
McElvis? No.
McAvaney.
Hey, man, how you doing, Sean? Baby, you're beautiful.
He's saying, hey, I'm listening here.
Oh, hey, Steve, I'm listening here, baby. I just want you to know that. That's a beautiful thing.
It is.
Yeah. So Debbie, so when you wake up, then do you ever catch yourself?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I'm really mindful of it now. So, I hadn't always done this.
Yeah.
But in the last few years, I've made it part of my morning routine where before I get up, just like you said with what you do, Steve, it's incredible, the similarities actually that you and I have discussed. But before I get up, I'll say, okay, the alarm went off. I'm shutting it off. I'm actively waking up. I say what I'm grateful for. I meditate a little bit. And then I drink I have my Stanley cup sitting right next to me. It's a Stanley cup. It's next to me. I drink a ton of water before I even put my feet on the floor because I know I'm really bad about that, but it's so good for us to stay hydrated. And I'm bad about it through the day. So I probably an 8 ounce, suck that down, get up and start my day. And it's amazing how much it helps me and my mindset.
Yeah. Yeah. And sometimes if you just think of something that happened to you the day before, it could be the slightest thing. I try to coach people to do that too. And sometimes I have a hard time doing that because sometimes the day before was really a pretty challenging day. But you could always think of that one little thing. Maybe somebody gave you a compliment. Maybe you're thinking of the dog lying by the side of your bed. Maybe you did something good for somebody, whatever it may be. But your mindset when you wake up in the morning, man, it's crucial because people aren't aware that they're starting their day unhappy because it's become a part of who they are.
Oh, it's so true.
Yep. We talked about this before about how people, the first thing they do is they get out of bed, or even before they get out of bed, they're checking their phone, and then they're turning on the news, and then they're going on Twitter and Facebook, and their day hasn't even started yet, and all of a sudden they're like interactive with these people who are negative.
Sure, that's a good point. People, Bruce, there are people, and I know a lot of people listening do this. They just woke up, they're groggy, they're thinking of a challenging day they had the day before, the irate people they had to deal with, and then didn't take the covers off. They still have sleep, and they reach over to their nightstand and grab their iPhone or some stupid other apparatus, and they start looking at all of the messages that they think need to be answered before they even leave the house. That's insane. You got to give yourself a break. Clear your head first.
Yep. I think there was a quiz. It's like, what was the first thing you do when you get up in the morning? 40 years ago, the number one answer was go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
Today, that's like number 3 or 4.
Yeah, but you should get out of bed first.
Yeah, and you might want to do that. You might want to open your eyes too, because that'd be a scary trip.
I just did what he told me to do. Now I look at my bed. Jesus, I'm trying out now. So here's a metaphor for people. Hello, Lynn.
Lynn Serrano.
Lynn has a wonderful show on a Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the Lynn and Scott Show.
And she produces Find It.
Excuse me?
And she produces Find It.
Yeah, I know. And Find It. Oh, yeah, that's your show.
And that's my show. Yeah.
Yeah. Find Your Fabulous.
Find It.
Find it.
It's about find it. Where is it? I can't find it. We're trying to find happiness today, though.
Find it and build from it. Yes. So as I was saying, this is a metaphor. I want everyone to get into this little scenario I'm making up here. I think this is what separates people who start their days in a good mood to a bad mood. So some people get up in the morning, okay? They get up first thing in the morning and they're maybe just a little bit groggy and they go over to their window and they pull the curtains over and they notice there's this beautiful blue sky and a beautiful sun shining. But they also notice that there are clouds in the corner somewhere. But these people aren't focusing on the clouds. They're focusing on the blue sky and the sun. And they're actually saying to themselves, man, this is going to be a good day. I'm going to get stuff done. There are a couple of challenges I have to handle, but I know there's something within me that can meet this challenge head on. I am making a conscious choice to enjoy this day. Then there are those that get up in the morning. They get up, they pull the curtains over. They're looking at the same sun, the same blue sky, and the same clouds. But these people immediately start focusing on the clouds. And the first thing they say is, well, it figures it's going to be one of those days. It was one of those days yesterday. It'll be one of those days today. And it'll probably be one of those days tomorrow, too. That's just the way my life has been going now. So, folks, I want you to sit there and think about this and be honest with yourself, because only you know the truth about this. What is it that you usually focus on when you wake up in the morning? Do you focus on the sun and the blue skies, or are you focusing on the clouds? Especially when you know you have a challenging day ahead of you. What are you focusing on? Are you focusing on the power that is within you that can meet this challenge head on? And you know there's something within you that can empower you if you deal with this challenge? Or are you focusing on this challenge and making a challenging situation worse than what it has to be because that's what you're focusing on? Your honest answer is your overall degree of happiness. Some of you listening right now have a very high degree of happiness because you don't let life interfere with your quality of enjoying the day. Some of you have a mediocre and some of you have a very low. My promise to you is that if you make a conscious choice every day for 30 days to focus on what's working and bless the things that life has given you, if you dig deep down and find those things, you will find that you could be happier than you ever thought you could be.
Can I get an amen?
Yeah. You can elevate your overall degree of happiness is what I'm saying. And as a matter of fact, you know, Deb, if you don't mind telling this story, you just told me a great story before the show started.
Oh, I will definitely share.
Something that you held on to on your way home that lifted, and it was a very intense moment in your life. So please tell the story.
I will. Let me say this first. Jim Perry says, hello, all, be positive. And I want him to tell him I'm O positive, but we're both still positive, brother. So way to go. That's a little joke. I know Steve tells the jokes. I try to be funny every once in a while.
I'm O positive too.
Oh yeah. Yeah. See, we're the same person. So anyway, I was asked to go to a women's prison. Oh, I don't know. It's very emotional. I didn't realize it was going to hit me so much, but it really did. So I was asked to go to a women's prison and speak, which I did yesterday. And there were 30 women. Some will never be free. Some will in several years. So it's a rehabilitation program that Pat Wynne Brown, who is located in Columbus, has, that she helps these women prisoners better themselves, whether they're going to be free someday or not. She asked me to come in and speak, and I brought my own book. And I told myself, you know, I'm not going to rehearse this, and I'm not going to do a presentation. I'm going to speak from the heart, and whatever Bob, which we know who Bob is, calls me to say is what I'm going to say. And so, long story short, it went extremely well. I was moved to tears numerous times. I really feel like I got more out of it than what I gave. And my trip home was a little better than an hour. And I was emotional. I was a little bit drained from the emotions. And I was processing everything. But what I want to say is, while I say I was emotionally drained and it was, it was a big event, something I will never forget, I also felt so good about what had just happened and the connections that I made with these women that I'll probably never see again. But it filled my cup up. It made me happy from giving. And you've heard the saying, when you give, you get back. And that is certainly true in this case, because I went planning to give what I could of myself to them to help them feel better. And they gave me a gift. And I'll never forget it. I'm going to keep that with me forever.
Yeah, that's a great story. That is such a great story. And you know what that makes us all realize too, Deb, is that we are all connected somehow, some way. And you came from that part of yourself where they knew it too. They knew that you got them, you understood it, they understood it. And that's one of the things, that's one of the strategies, that's one of the things that we can all do to assure our happiness throughout the day, is to do something. We talked about this last week. I think it was last week's episode, acts of kindness.
Mm-hmm.
And it's amazing how that can elevate your overall degree of happiness when you do something for someone and they don't even have to say anything. It's just by the look you can see on that person's face. You could feel the energy, and you just made a tremendous difference. You were a spark that can probably ignite some kind of change in those people's lives.
And they did in mine.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah. That's one of the great parts about acts of kindness and giving.
And you know what else? This popped in my head, so I need to interject and say.
Sure.
And Steve, you and I have amazing conversations, and we can go forever. But what I just thought was, a lot of times people aren't happy because they can't forgive themselves.
Wow.
And like these women who are in prison, a lot of them are having that just hatred of themselves for what they've done. And they can't they're paying their dues, they're paying their time. And my thing is, whether you're in prison or you're not, and all of us are flawed and we make mistakes, forgive yourself and move on. Today is a new day. Be happy with what you have today, right? Am I wrong on this?
Guilt is no, you're so right, because guilt is the great destroyer of the spirit. And here's the thing about forgiving yourself. You can't expect other people to forgive you unless you're willing to forgive yourself first. You can't expect people to love you unless you love yourself first.
Oh, that's so true.
Well, all of this, love is the core of everything, and forgiveness, guilt, and all that other stuff encircles that. But it all comes from loving yourself. And these people have a tough time loving themselves. And that time that you were up there, you could have made them think, where maybe they can delve in and start getting other things, listening to reading books or videos, whatever it is that they can work on themselves.
Yeah, and writing their own book. I mean,
Sure.
all of the things.
Who knows, man? Maybe you should talk to that woman again and go back again for another, recap or something.
Right.
But the point is, you have to be able to forgive yourself, because it's the way the law of attraction works. When you're able to forgive yourself, regardless of how heinous the crime was or the thing that you did that might have been wrong, and learn, and the way you do forgive yourself is learn from it. You got to learn from it. That's what empowerment is all about. I screwed up. I did this. I murdered someone. Now that's, you can't get much bigger than that.
Right.
And you said there were people there that.
Yes, right? Definitely.
And you have to be able to say, that was me then. That's not me now. I can never take that back. But I have to learn to love myself and forgive myself. And when you do that, you'll notice other people start feeling it and seeing it. It has to start with you. Everything in life, your happiness has to start with you. You can't wait for circumstances to change for you to be happy or to love yourself. You have to start the process within yourself. Is it easy? I didn't say that was, but it can be done. Right. It can be done.
Well, even in your book, I mean, you were, Conversations with Bob, where Bob has said, I forgave you for that. Why are you still talking about it? I mean, that's not how you worded it, but
No.
that's my interpretation. But, it's like, what are you doing? I mean, you already asked for forgiveness and I've already forgiven you. So how about you forgiving yourself?
Exactly.
So that's powerful.
Yeah. It's all about, it's all about that. And I think
Happiness is intertwined with so many, it's not single layered, it's faceted with all these layers of all these different things. There's always a reason why someone isn't happy. And, sometimes it's because you're not forgiving yourself, or sometimes it's because you have gotten into a habit every day of this is what I do and this is my attitude and I'm grumpy and I'm Eeyore, like you and I have talked about that before.
Yep.
And that's just who I am. Well, but you're in control of you, so it doesn't have to be who you are.
Well, that you just hit the key. That's why people aren't happy. When you hear someone saying, I hear it all the time, well, that's just the way I am. Well, yeah, of course that's the way you are. That's what I'm saying. That's why you're miserable, because that's the way you are. I'm asking you to change the way you are, because that's the only way you're going to change.
Right.
But some people just stay stuck in their circumstances. And I think the shame of it is that there's not enough of what we do around for people to know that they have alternatives. And I'm not giving us a medal or anything like that. I'm just saying.
Oh gosh, because we have our days too.
Yeah, of course. Of
yeah.
course. Exactly. But if you don't know that there are healthier alternatives to live your life, how are you supposed to do it?
That's true.
How are you supposed to do it? Can we bring up what Jim Perry just said here, Bruce? Forgiveness gives you what God promises. And the one before that, I like that, Jim. Thank you so much. Forgiveness gives you grace that nobody can give, and God does that. Yes, God does.
And I see Stephen Orphis is in the house in New York, New Yorkers.
Hey, how you doing?
How you doing?
Girl Life Academy thing. He's a beautiful guy.
He's a great guy.
Yeah. You know what? I think maybe what we're going to do here, folks, we're doing something new. We're going to do this every episode now. Towards the end of the show, one of us are going to read an excerpt from Conversations with Bob, a paragraph with some of the high points to remember, and it'll be a shift in topics. But I'm not going to know what Debbie's going to be reading later on, but whatever she reads, I'm going to involve myself in it, and we'd like your comments on that too. We want to spice up the show in a lot of different ways. So this is one of the things we're doing.
Spices.
Spices?
We're spicing it up.
So sometimes I think you would be a great New Yorker. I swear you would. I could just see you cracking gum and saying,
I do that too. It's so annoying. No one likes when I have gum. How you doing? Crackle popper.
Hey, should we play the excerpt of The Word According to Bob? Should we do that?
I love that. Let's do it.
Okay, folks, please stay tuned and watch this. This is The Word According to Bob. It's about happiness is a choice. Let's watch it.
I love this.
Hey. You want in on a little secret? No, it's not Victoria's secret, so calm down. Actually, Victoria really doesn't even have a secret. Have you ever seen the merchandise in that store? It's obvious to me that the secret is pretty much revealed. Here's the secret. Happiness is a choice. As I always say, making happiness as a choice is what life is all about, and it's the best way to stay motivated and inspired throughout the day. And I know what some of you are thinking right now. Okay, Steve, if happiness is a choice, then why are so many people feeling crappy instead of happy? Huh? Why are so many people going through life feeling unfulfilled? Well, the answer is that most people either don't believe that happiness is a choice or they can't understand its meaning. Happiness isn't one choice, like deciding which presidential candidate will make you less miserable. Try thinking of happiness as a lifetime of small moment-to-moment choices. On any given day, there are a number of reasons or excuses that I can use to justify being unhappy. I mean, it could be work-related, time constraints, someone else's bad mood, health issues, financial issues, family issues. And by the way, if you knew my family, you would definitely understand. The key, however, is that I know that I'm responsible for my state of mind.
I'm totally aware of what happens to me when I begin to lose control. Allowing these outside forces or circumstances to determine my happiness can quickly send me into a downward spiral. And the same goes for you. Whatever it is that has the potential to keep you from enjoying the day and the success that you desire, understand that it's not the situation in and of itself that's causing you to be unhappy or to feel unsuccessful. It's really the thoughts that you have about the situation. It's what you choose to focus on over a period of time that fuels your emotions and defines your reality. Now, I got to tell you, I find it absolutely amazing that the same incident can be experienced in different ways by different people. I mean, there are those who view life's little mishaps as a catastrophe, like it's the end of the world, while others find the humor in it and they laugh it off. I mean, that's not to say that you're wrong to get upset when your car doesn't start, you're going to be late for work. I get that. That's natural. But you're doing yourself a grave disservice if you allow the bad mood to continue. If you're not vigilant, one bad mood can avalanche out of control and ruin what could otherwise be an enjoyable and productive day. My point is this: rather than dwell on negativity, why not choose to shift your focus on what's working in your life rather than fixating on what isn't working? Why not bless the things that life has given you rather than cursing what life is currently throwing at you? And use your time and energy finding solutions to your problems rather than wallowing in them. If you do, you're going to be experiencing a happier, healthier reality for yourself. Either way, the outcome is based on choices. And that's the word, according to Bob.
I don't know. We all know what the robe looks like, though.
Yeah.
Was that you or was that Hugh?
That was Hugh. Yeah, it was. I borrowed it from Hugh.
I love
Thanks.
the Argyle socks.
Thanks, Jim. Oh my God, video was awesome. I did 16 episodes of those, Jim. By the way, I don't know if you know that, Debbie. I have 16 of those. 16 different 16 different messages. Yeah, so we'll be using them throughout that. Well, I've done them already before we even had you as a co-host on the show with me.
I love it.
Yeah, it's I thought maybe at some point it was too long, but I think it makes the point. So I thank you all for listening and
it's good
watching
stuff.
that particular video. But as far as the video says, it's like we've been saying the whole time. It's about what you're focusing on, And I think what people don't realize, I talked about the example about if your car doesn't start, and I get that you can be upset, but some people can't wait to tell that story over and over again.
Right.
At work. They'll say it the whole day. And then a couple of days later, someone will say, "Hey, Jim, did you get your car fixed?" "Yeah, man, but I got to tell you." Then they tell the story all over again, never realizing that they're reliving the same incident and they just got themselves in another unhappy mood again by repeating the same incident that happened 2 or 3 days ago.
Yeah, that's so true.
Yeah,
That's absolutely true. But the opposite is true. If we remember and think about the fun things and go back, like if, even at home, like I'm going to think about a vacation where I was laying on the beach when the snow's flying here in Ohio. And you're like, oh, I'm going to think about that. That raises your vibration too.
Yes.
Thinking happy thoughts. It's no joke. And I just want to remind listeners that Steve has been through some stuff. This isn't like him just blowing smoke and he's had, life by the tail all his life. Because, I think it's important to remember that when we do shows like this, it's not about preaching to someone. It's just sharing our thoughts on how we have become better and we're still growing.
Yeah.
And it's to share with you. And we hope that you comment and let us know how you're feeling and what you do to raise your energy level and to be happy, or what you're kind of stuck on. And we can talk about it together.
Wow. So well said. And I got to tell you something, folks. Everyone has crap to deal with in life. And not everyone is happy 24/7, 365 days a year. Don't even attempt to do that. You can't. If you tried, your brain would pop. Even the Dalai Lama has crap to deal with.
Sure.
And that's how he became the Dalai Lama. because he realized that there was something within him that can make him better and better and better and get him more in tune with that higher part of himself. And that's how it works. I've said this many times, but I will always say this on a lot of my shows. Your subconscious runs 97% of your life. That's what runs your life. And we unconsciously program negative stuff from the day we're little kids until we're adults. And some of us go their entire lives that way because we are trained to focus. It's part of the human condition to focus on all of the challenges and what isn't working. We have a tendency to make challenging situations worse than what it has to be. But I'm telling you, as you were saying, just you alluded to earlier, just 30 seconds ago, Deb, is that yes, there are also good things to think about rather than just focusing on the bad things. And the more you allow yourself on a consistent basis to shift your way of thinking when you're having a bad day to what is working, you're sending that message to your subconscious that does run, as I said, 97% of your life. You're sending that message. And the more you do it, your subconscious will automatically remind you, yes, you're having a bad day now, Steve, or Deb, or Dan, or Tom. You're having a bad day, but remember what you did just the past few times. You shifted it to something that was working. You'll finally get to the point where you don't even have to think about doing it. Your brain will automatically go to something that will elevate your spirit to make you feel better. And it's an amazing awareness when you realize that you're automatically doing it. Am I making sense?
Yes. And I was going to say, it's like your happiness cardio. You can't go out and run a marathon without training. And if you try to today, I'm going to be happy about everything and I'm going to think of happy thoughts. It's a constant catching yourself in the negative zone, as Bob and Bernie talk about. And it's catching those and shifting into a more positive mindset. And when you get into the habit and training to say, I'm really being rude to myself and everyone else, stop, put a positive thought in its place. It after a while, Steve's right. It becomes more like part of you. And then you can go run the happiness marathon. It's your happy cardio. Just do a little bit every day to get better, to improve.
And the awareness is when you notice that shift is taking place, remind yourself and you say, wow, I just almost got into a bad mood by focusing on the fact that like it happened to me just a few days ago. I almost broke my key in my door, turning it. I would have been screwed. And I was late. I was late for an appointment. I had a breakfast meeting. And I just went, son of a, and I went to that, and all of a sudden I just stopped. Something made me start to laugh. Humor is a great foil for that. And I just started laughing. And my neighbor came next door and she said, are you okay? And I said, yeah. She goes, I heard the F word 3 times. I just wanted to know. And that started me laughing even more. And I said, Cindy, I am so sorry. She goes, no, you had me laughing my ass off. I thought it was me, but I realized it was your voice because we all do it.
Sure. I mean, come on. I mean, you've written a book. You've written several books. I'm not discounting all of the books that you have written, but this one, it's all about conversations with Bob. And when you read the book, you understand who Bob is. And I love it because you're so real, Steve. And it's like, you don't feel like if you say shit that you're going to burn in hell. Like it's a whole other level of being. Yeah. And the book is so real. That's why I enjoy it so much. I wanted to just give a little shout out to Robert Brooker. He's the Believe in Yourself that's on there that said he's grateful for us. We're grateful for you too. Thanks for joining us tonight. But yeah, the book is amazing because of it being like the story that's written is so believable because it's kind of a true story.
Well,
right.
Because I'm Bernie and I'm Bob. You're Bernie and you're Bob. Yes. We all have an inner Bernie and an inner Bob. Yep. Bernie lives in the negative zone. Bob is of your higher self. He has the solutions to all of your problems. That doesn't necessarily mean that Bob will make your problems go away, but Bob will always help you to work your way through it.
And who is Bob?
And when you do that, you become empowered. As a matter of fact, this is a great segue to our new segment of the show. So why don't you read what you...
And
Debbie's going to read an excerpt from the book.
who is Bob?
This is so cool. This is so new.
Who is Bob? Tell him.
I'm Bob. You're Bob.
And Bob is God. But God lives inside of us. Okay, so I got to put the readers on so I don't miss a word.
Yeah, Bob is God, folks, for some of you that don't
know.
know.
This is, I love this because at the end of every chapter, he has high points to remember. So what I'm going to read is this. All negative emotions are destroyers of the spirit. They keep the light from your higher self from shining. If you're not in the right state of consciousness, opportunity lies dormant in darkness. In a short period of time, it will simply fade away. Its purpose is lost. As my favorite Queen song goes, and another one bites the dust.
And another one gone, and another one gone.
Another one bites the dust. Another one bites the dust. Don't. Another one bites it. So don't let those dreams bite the dust.
Yeah. Well, see, that's exactly it. And that's what happens. You wind up in the negative zone. As you were reading that, folks, we all do that. And we're not aware when we go on those negative rampages. I remember when I was doing stand-up, my ego was so big then. And I remember, yeah. And my opening acts would go on before me, and they were only supposed to do like a half hour. And there they are doing 40, 45 minutes. And I would be in the back stewing, telling the owner of the club, get him off the stage. He's doing way too much time and blah, blah. And there were times when I took that anger up on the stage. Ooh. And it affected my performance until someone in the club, and it was one of the assistant managers, that said, hey, you can't do that anymore. He told me, he said, you went up there, you were pissed off. You were waiting for hecklers so you could rip them apart. And I realized what he said, and I apologized. And I had to make a conscious choice every day no matter what, if I had a bad day, man, my goal was to make people laugh. That's what I did for a living. I owed it to them. These people are paying money to laugh, not to see some idiot up on stage, right? Spewing his anger. And
it's one of those things where they're like, is he doing this on purpose to be funny? Because I want to laugh, but I don't want him to heckle me.
Yeah, exactly. Wow. But my timing was off and everything. That's just a perfect example. So see, that was my job. How many of you do that with your job? How many of you people are in sales and you're wondering why you're not making the sale? Are you aware that bad mood that you got in that day, maybe you had a fight with your husband or your wife, or your children pissed you off, or your car didn't start, you take that to work? Do you know that people can, even if you don't say anything, they can sense negative energy?
Yeah.
They can feel the
You mean
tension.
You don't want to buy this from me? What's wrong?
Exactly. And salespeople do that. Salespeople do that. They're about to nail this big deal, and all of a sudden they find out that it didn't work. It went under, and they take that. They're so angry about it. Now they have to make that next phone call and meet that next client with that negative attitude. Now you're running the risk of losing another sale.
True.
It's all about shifting your thinking and your focus. I know people are getting bad moods. They had a bad day at work, and it's their anniversary. And the anniversary is ruined because they were pissed off during the day and they took it home with them, or it's their kid's anniversary. It's all a matter of, we all are going to go through stuff.
Yeah, we are. And I remember you talking about, and this is so true, the people that are always waiting for the weekend. Like, I'll be happy when it's the weekend. I'll be happy after this week's over. And then you're already in the negative zone. So once the weekend comes, it's probably not going to be that great either. We got to enjoy the moments that we have even during the week and not the weekend. I really liked that when you talked about that.
Well, that's so true. And the thing that intensifies that, when you put your happiness on hold, I'll be happy when the weekend gets here. Your subconscious, as you heard me say, is the genie of your soul. And if you keep saying, I'll be happy when the weekend gets here, your subconscious is going, okay, I could wait for you to be happy. If you want to wait for the weekend, we'll wait. So now a lot of people say, well, at least I'll be happy when the weekend gets here. No, you won't, folks, because you already created that mindset. That mindset will stay with you. And I guarantee you will look for something that's going to piss you off. whatever it may be. Maybe it's your neighbor with the leaf blower. He's you ever hear, oh, I hate that, or the lawnmower, or your kids are taking, you will find something.
Yeah.
And because you already created that mindset, and now you're ruining your weekend. And
It's
then you take it back to
perspective
work.
too, which we've talked about. Perspective too. Like, it's really enlightening. Every day there's circumstances that I'm in that I've noticed, like, I'm going to overreact. I had one the other day with my daughter. I'm an emotional person, and especially if I really love someone, sometimes it's difficult for me just to process and not like bleh. So, I'm learning. I'm still learning. I'm not a perfect human being. And there's moments of sadness and irritability and all of those things that I have to go, okay, get back into that place where I can be in the moment and appreciate the good things. Perception of, at least my daughter's talking to me. I didn't necessarily like what she had to say to me, but she and I had the conversation, and I'm appreciative to that.
See, what you're saying and what we've been saying in this whole show, folks, this is what it means. And I know people don't even like hearing that. This is what we mean when we say happiness is a choice. It really isn't what happens to you. It's how you deal with it. It's how you decipher it in your head. It's the thoughts you have about the challenge, knowing that you have the power to direct your thoughts, to create different thoughts, to shift your way of thinking. That's what it means when Debbie and I are saying happiness is a choice. We're not saying this stuff is easy, but we are saying this. The more you know you have an alternative and how to deal with it, the easier your life becomes. Go ahead.
No, my mom, I just thought of this. My mom would always say to me as I was growing up, like if something was bothering me or I was upset about something, I mean, she would talk to me about it, but ultimately she would always end up saying, well, just don't worry about it. It's fine. Everything's going to be fine. Think happy thoughts. And I used to think she was crazy.
Yeah.
But she's really good at being able to say, I didn't like this. This isn't okay, but I'm not going to dwell on it. Yes. I'm going to move on. I'm going to be appreciative for whatever. And so, gosh, the older I get, the more I realize my mom kind of knows something.
Yep. Yeah.
She's lived a day or two.
Absolutely. And, and I think that's it. I think when we wake up in the morning too, another thing I think would be important for us to say is that, there's a good chance I'm going to be confronted with something unexpected that isn't going to sit well with me. I'm going to be confronted with challenges. Some of us may be hit with something astronomical. I mean, really intense. But after you know that and say it's just a part of life, just realize that you say to yourself, there's something within me that can meet any challenge head on. I can do this. I'm prepared for this. And if you start your day with that, you're already aware that something could happen. You don't dwell on it. You don't look for something to happen, but you say, that's life. That's why we're here.
Right.
We're supposed to have challenges.
Do you also in the mornings, I mean, during meditation, when you say, do you use prayer and meditation like as the same thing? When you say you meditate, is that the same as prayer to you?
I look at prayer as talking to God, and meditation is me hearing what God has to say.
Ooh, say that again.
Praying is talking to God, and I'm very open. I'm very me. I'm very me. I don't plead. I don't beg, and I don't have to ask for the same thing over. So I'll pray for something, and God already knows what I want. So the next time I pray, I don't ask for it. I say, thank you for giving it to me.
Nice.
I already have it. And I keep thanking, and I visualize that I already have it. And then when I meditate, it's my way of clearing my mind, which it took me a long time to do this, but my mind is clear. I'm in this void, but every now and then something comes up where it'll strike me, and that's God talking to me.
And that is where you've gotten so many ideas. And honestly, it was so sweet the day I said about you writing this book, and you said Bob wrote the book.
Bob wrote the book. Yeah. And Deb, that's why I said it took me 7 years to write.
Yeah.
Every time.
Bob is not in a hurry.
No, but I was. And every time I was finished, Bob said, no, you're not. And I felt that in my meditations.
That's where he let you know you're not done with this book yet.
Well,
because I'm not done.
Bob was waking me up at 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, and I was getting pretty pissed off too. I said, can't you wait until I wake up in the morning? Do I have to get up at 2? And I'm writing stuff down, you know, and it took me 7 years to write the book. And as you know, it was the most challenging time in my entire life. And I was a personal development speaker at the time. I was at the pinnacle of my career.
I just thought of something.
What?
How many days did Bob take to create
It was 7 days, 7 days. And it took me 7 years to write the book. I'm very aware of that. I know.
Wow.
I'm very aware. I'm very aware. There's a lot of 7 things. And if you notice there are 4 parts to the book, and there are 4 chapters to each part.
Yes.
So that adds to 16 chapters, and 1 and 6 is 7.
Yeah.
In numerology, that's a 7.
That's a thing.
Yeah, that's a 7.
Numerology, that's a thing.
That's like
count those 2 numbers together.
That'd be like a God thing, you know what I'm saying?
It's like a God thing. 1 and 6, that equals 7.
That's what I'm saying.
That's what I'm saying.
Let's read off a few more comments, and then we'll
and then I have one more segment to read.
Oh, you really?
Another little paragraph.
Oh, cool. Okay.
So we'll do it. But Jim
Let's read
Perry.
Jim Perry. Go ahead, read Jim Perry.
Steve, you are correct. Keep digging. Keep making it happen. You are a warrior. Yes, he is. Hey, I got muscles too, Jim.
Yes, you do.
I just got them all covered up. Yeah, but believe in yourself. Hi, Robert. I remember the jogging days. 6 kilometer. I don't know what that means. KM was murder. Was murder at first. 6. Is that like a 5K? A 6K? After 2 months, 3 relaxing 6Ks a week with a 10K on the weekend, while being able to engage in conversations the entire run. Oh yeah. Now there's a rule I have. We either talk or we run. We don't do both.
Yeah.
So if you're with me and I run to the bathroom, Robert. That's about all the running I do. I don't like it. Oh yeah. But anyway, do you want me to read the other one that I just?
And then we'll close off. Yeah.
All right. So it's just one little paragraph. Let's see if I can read it without the read us. Okay. In any given circumstance, you have the power to use your mind to create feel-good thoughts that will propel you to view any situation from a higher part of yourself, from an advantage rather than a disadvantage. The more you do this, the more you solidify a healthier belief system, which is basically what you just said about training yourself to get into that positive zone.
Again, this is what I mean when I say happiness is a choice. All these little strategies, as Bob says to Bernie, common sense success strategies. Folks, you all have, there are 2 characters in this book, Bob and Bernie. Every one of us has an inner Bob, who is God, the God part of you, and everyone has an inner Bernie. Bernie resides in the negative zone where problems get blown out of proportions and challenges turn into emotional havoc. And everyone on this planet experiences, regardless of race, religion, gender, social status, everyone experiences Bernie's fears and negative emotions throughout various stages of their lives. The key is, what are you going to listen to most in your life? Your inner Bernie or your inner Bob? And this book makes you realize that, well, the answer is your inner Bob. But the conversation between the 2 brings them both. They really collide, and then they become best friends. And Bernie realizes how to turn his life around because Bob gives him common sense success strategies and shifting habits on how he can be the best he can possibly be. So that's what it's all about. And
it is a beautiful, beautiful book. And I love that you've decided to do segments where we read a little snippet.
I like this idea.
Love it.
We're going to do that every show. And you can buy the book. Just go to yourinnerbob.com and order the book. It's an easy read. As a matter of fact, if you go there to that site, you'll see 4 chapters, excerpts that you could read, segments of it. And you can look at some of the Word According to Bob videos, which are the messages from the book. And
how fun will it be as people continue to buy the book and watch the show? They can pipe in comments of what their favorite excerpt was. It'll be fun. I love it.
That would be a great idea. We can have them come on and read an excerpt from it.
Wouldn't that be?
Yeah.
Like, I'll just sit back and let you read it. My job's just getting easier. We're just going to delegate that out. Come on, people. Read the book, watch the show, and we'll put you on.
Yeah.
That's
what I'm saying. Well,
don't be a Bernie.
Yeah, don't be a Bernie.
Don't be a Bernie, people.
Wow, this was a good show. Thank you
it.
for doing a scrupulous job again. I'm so glad that you're a part of this. And folks, you were wonderful. Thank you for your incredible comments. Remember, it's every other Thursday. The next show will be not next Thursday, but the following after. And starting in January, we will be going every Thursday, every single Thursday. We're going to add new stuff to the show. And I can't wait until we have you folks come on. The last 10 minutes of the show, everyone will have 2 minutes to talk about a challenge that you have. You can come right on the air with us, right on the show, and talk about what's irking you. And Debbie, myself, and Eric and I will go over it with you, and we'll see if we can help you in some way, somehow. I'm not Bernie, I promise. I believe you. I believe you.
Yeah, because he's really a Bob. His name's Robert. He's actually a Bob.
He's actually a Bob. Yeah, I know. Yeah. That's pretty cool.
Good job, cool. Robert.
I love you all. Debbie, I love you. Stay on when the show's over so we can talk a little bit more. Folks, take care. Remember, not next Thursday, the Thursday after. Tell your friends about it. If you haven't purchased the book, I think you should. Bye-bye.